Good morning students, this is Shiba. Now we are going to see about the microprocessor and microcontrollers UNIT-1 8086 microprocessor. So in last class we have seen the history and the introduction to microprocessors. Now we are going to see about the architecture of microprocessors. As we know, this architecture is the basic and the most important question available in this microprocessor. So, when we are going to learn any microprocessor, the first thing we have to keep in mind is it's the architecture or layout of the microprocessor. Why it is important? Of course, the architecture decides how the microprocessor is structured, how it is featured, how it will be serving the application we are needed. So, based on the application you are taking, for example, as I have mentioned earlier, if you are going to use a digital clock, a simple implementation of the microprocessor, how its architecture has to be defined. And if you are going to use it for some advanced applications like video gaming, so how its architecture have to be redefined, how it can be implemented for that particular application. So based on the application you have to find the architecture and the features available. So the basic thing first you have to know is the architecture which is basically available in your microprocessor you are choosing. So here in 8086, first we are going to see about the architecture available. The architecture here is separated into two major units. First one is the bus interface unit and the second one is the execution unit. As we have said earlier, basically this 8086 microprocessor is also used to perform the fetching, decoding and execution. So fetching is done in this bus interface unit, whereas in decode and execution is done in the execution unit. So fetching means it send the address of the data where you have to pick up the memory data, and it goes to that particular address and fetches the data. It return back to the microprocessor. It process in the execution unit and produces the output. So these are all the functions that is carried out in your microprocessor. You can see the blocks available here in this bus interface unit. There are segment registers available. 4 segment registers major available. That is extra segment, code segment, stack segment and data segment. So from the name itself you can identify data segment is used to get the data and store for temporary purpose and produce the output. Stack is nothing but temporary storage. So temporarily you can store and produce the output. Code segment here is used to code the data, whether you have to encode the data or code byte. So it is used for that coding purpose and produce the output. Extra segment is also used for storing the data values used in the program. And you can see the pipelining is nothing but as I have said, the major operations like fetching, decoding, executing is done in a parallel fashion. So first before pipelining, the process is done. First fetch phase will be done, after that decode phase will be done, after that execution is done. Whereas in pipelining, instruction 1 is fetched, and if it is moved to the decoding phase, the instruction 2 is fetched. So parallelly all the process will be taken simultaneously, and so we can process multiple instruction at the same time. That is the purpose of using pipelining. And you can see in instruction Q, it is used to queue the data you are giving as input. And also many flank registers are available here. Arithmetic logical unit, which perform the ALU operation, control system for overall control, and instruction decoder to decode the instruction. There are also general purpose registers like AH, AL, BH, BL, CH, CL and DH, DL are available. You can club this like AX, BX, CX and DX to perform the 16-bit operations. So these are all about the architecture in 8086 microprocessor. If you have any doubts in this, you can ask me and get the details. Thank you.